Hello children, today we are going to discuss the chapter The Desert. Now when we say the desert, we have a picture in mind, especially people who live in the cities or people who have a lot of greenery around. Those people have a picture of the desert, and that picture is an endless stretch of sand. When we say desert, it's always sand and sand and sand. There is no rainfall, no vegetation. It's very hot, it's very dry, and you cannot find shelter. No human being or animal can find shelter in a desert. This is the picture that comes to our mind. But this picture is a wrong picture. A desert is a very beautiful place and it keeps changing. It's very vibrant. You have different kinds of things that you can see in a desert. First of all, you don't have much rain in the desert. It rains very rarely. But when it does, you find beautiful flowers blooming. And not just one or two. Sometimes it's a garden of flowers. A garden that can be a competition to the gardens in our homes. Right? It's a very beautiful place. And then you have mountains. We feel there are no mountains. There are mountains also in a desert. And you find sand dunes. What is a sand dune? Sand dunes are mounds of sand. And these sand dunes are not stable. Like if you look at the range of Himalayas, the range of Aravalis, you will find that they stand in one place. But a sand dune keeps shifting. If a sand dune is here today, tomorrow it will be in another place. How does it happen? Because the winds are very strong. They are so strong that it blows away the sand dust. The sand particles are blown away and it goes from one place to other. It rises up, okay, and it rises up and falls to the other place. So in this way, the sand dune gradually starts moving. Isn't it beautiful? Then there is another thing that we see, the oasis. Oasis is a green island in the middle of a desert. And how do you get an oasis in the middle of the desert? There is water, a natural source of water. It could be a spring or it could be a well around which all the greenery grows or develops. Okay, then you have animals and plants in the desert. Though it's a little difficult to survive, they learn to adapt to the situation. They all learn how to use very little water. The first example of the animal is a camel. We all know what a camel is. It is called the ship of a desert. Now this camel, it can drink lots of water at one time. If I ask you, a child sitting there, how much water can you drink at one time? You can easily drink one glass of water. Second glass of water is a little difficult. Third glass of water is very difficult to drink. And fourth glass of water is almost impossible. But this camel, it can drink gallons and gallons of water at one time. And then what else happens to its body? It can retain, it can stand a high body temperature. When we feel hot, what happens to our body? We start sweating. This sweat keeps us cool. It's water, right? Sweat is water. And this water cools your body. So your body temperature goes down. But in the case of the camel, it can stand high body temperature. So it sweats very little. So sweats very little means less water goes out of the body. And it retains water in the body for a long time. Then apart from the camels, you have several smaller desert animals. These desert animals, some of them, they do not even drink water. How do they save water? They stay underground during the hot day. They don't come out at all. Only when at night it is cold, they come out. And then they eat other animals. The animals have water in their body, right? So that water is absorbed by them. Or they may eat plants and seeds and take the juices from them and gets water that way. Now plants in the desert are different from the plants that you see around you. These plants, they store water in their stems. You must have all seen a cactus, right? If you look at the stem of the cactus, it's thick and fleshy. It's watery, right? So it saves water that way. Another way is that the roots of the cactus or the desert plants lie just under the surface of the ground. It's not deep because there is very little rainfall, and this rainfall, it does not go deep into the earth. The rainfall, the water from the rainfall is all there near the surface. So they have roots at the surface so that they can absorb water from there. After that, finally, the deserts are characterized by dryness and variations of temperature. Now, it's very dry and the temperatures are very high in the afternoons and very low in the at night. Why is it so? Because in the normal situations like ours, we have a blanket of moisture around us. We call humidity in the air, right? This humidity or this blanket of moisture, it prevents the sun's heat from coming directly to the earth. It cools it off. And that is why in the morning it's not very hot. And when in the evening the sun sets, the heat on the earth does not go back all of a sudden, because the blanket of moisture protects the earth. It absorbs the heat. Now in the case in the deserts, you don't have this blanket of moisture. So the sun's heat comes directly and heats up the place. And at night when the sun is gone, the heat is also gone with it. That is why it becomes very cold. So it's a very vibrant, it's a very different kind of place and a very beautiful kind of place. So if you can visit a desert, try to understand it better, it would be wonderful. You should also understand that a desert is very important. Just like the forest and the ocean, which is a part of the earth, deserts are also important. What do? It is called the sink of carbon dioxide. It absorbs carbon dioxide into it. Now, if there is carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, in the air, you will see that it's very polluted. And when the desert absorbs it, it absorbs the pollution into it. It is also a rich source of minerals. You find minerals, different kinds of minerals in it. So, the deserts are very important for us, for the earth. Okay, thank you. Now, if you have any doubt, you can always ask me in class or in the question box. You are most welcome.